Tonight on the Night Team. An officer was killed today in a Pennsylvania hospital hostage situation. 2 other officers, a nurse, a doctor, and a custodian were all shot and wounded.
Here in York County today, we saw the very best and the very worst of humanity.
Plus, the death toll from Kentucky storms and flooding has risen. Governor Beshear's plea to the federal government. Plus,
I'm just excited to be able to be a part of it.
Dozens of Louisville leaders honored for their dedication to making the city a better place. And later, freezing for a reason. The Louisville Polar Plunge returns, and fundraising goals for Special Olympics Kentucky are broken. Right now on the WHAS11 Night Team. One officer was killed, 2 other officers and 3 hospital staff members were all injured after a hostage situation at a Pennsylvania hospital today. It's our top story here on the Night Team. I'm Alex Dieterer. Now, police say a man armed with a handgun and zip ties entered the ICU at a hospital in York, Pennsylvania, and took a female staff member hostage. The suspect was shot and killed by police in a shootout. ABC's Johnny Fernandez has the details.
The terrifying scene unfolding at UPMC Memorial Hospital in York, Pennsylvania. According to officials, a gunman identified as Diogenes Archangel Ortiz entered the hospital at around 10:30 a.m. carrying a bag containing a handgun and zip ties.
He went straight to the ICU, and in the ICU, this individual went and held hostage members of the UPMC staff.
They say Ortiz tied the hands of one hospital staff member behind her back. Multiple police departments responded to the scene. As police officers attempted to engage Ortiz, they say he entered the hallway holding the hostage at gunpoint. Authorities say Ortiz fired his gun.
In total, he wound up discharging his firearm and struck 3 members of the UPMC staff. One was a doctor who was grazed. The other was a nurse and a custodian who are in stable condition at this time.
In the ensuing firefight, Ortiz was shot and killed by police. 3 officers were also struck. West York Borough Police Officer Andrew Duarte was killed.
Here in York County today, we saw the very best and the very worst of humanity.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro crediting hospital workers and law enforcement with saving lives.
The act of extraordinary bravery and courage by the healthcare workers here, by the law enforcement professionals who ran toward danger to keep people safe.
Authorities have not given a motive for the attack, and nor have they provided any details on if Ortiz had any possible connection to the ICU. Johnny Fernandez, ABC News, New York.
And back here at home, one person is in custody after police say they fired shots at 4 different locations around Hardin County, injuring 1 person. According to the sheriff's office, the shootings happened on Braxton Court, Skyline Drive, Park Avenue, and Wood Creek Drive. Police say 1 person was hit by the shots, but they are expected to survive. The sheriff's office says 1 person is in custody in connection with the shooting. We're learning more information about the deadly shooting outside a DMV in Valley Station. The coroner has now identified the 3 people killed. Both 29-year-old woman Reza Pacios Valdez and 33-year-old woman Antoinette Chillers died at the hospital from a gunshot wound. An 18-year-old young man named Leslie M. Harbin Jr. died at the scene after being shot several times. Eyewitnesses described the scene to us.
2 masked men came from around the corner and then walked up to the guy that was laying on the ground and shot him in the stomach and the chest probably about 7 times. And then the taller of the 2 men shot him in the head at least 2 to 3 more times. And then they ran off.
We sent Metro Police the information from the eyewitness, and they emailed us back saying, quote, "It would be very premature to speculate what you may be hearing or seeing on social media and by those who may have been nearby. We would encourage anyone that was near the scene this afternoon to reach out to our tip line," end quote. Anyone with information can contact the anonymous tip line using the number 574-LMPD. Today, Elon Musk announced federal workers will be receiving an email asking them to outline what they've done in the past week on the job. Musk says he's giving workers 48 hours to respond, and that failure to do so will be taken as a resignation. It's the latest move as the billionaire expands his crusade to slash the size of the federal government. Federal workers received a 3-line email with instructions to reply with 5 bullet points about what they accomplished during the week and to CC their managers. The latest move injected more chaos across multiple agencies. Louisville Representative Morgan McGarvey pushed back against the efforts.
When you hear about someone who's lost a child to cancer and that he's stopping the funding that Congress gave to cancer research, or you hear that somebody's losing their job because he's getting rid of something that Congress put in place, behind all of these actions of his are real personal stories and pain. And that's why we are pushing back. That's why we're pushing back, not just to save the American democracy, but to make sure that people in this country continue to be okay.
President Donald Trump celebrated the massive cuts today at the Conservative Political Action Conference.
And Elon is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. And we must be doing something right because we've got the highest poll numbers that I've ever had.
But polls show voters are concerned. A Washington Post Ipsos poll shows 53% of Americans disapprove of what Trump has done since taking office. 57% said Trump has gone beyond his authority as president, and only 34% approve of how Musk has handled his role. There is no official figure available yet for the total firings or layoffs so far, but the Associated Press has tallied hundreds of thousands of workers who are being affected. Many work outside of Washington. The cuts include thousands of the departments of Veterans Affairs, Defense, Health and Human Services, the Internal Revenue Service, and the National Park Service, among others. The race for Mitch McConnell's Senate seat is already heating up. On the Democratic side, House Minority Leader Pamela Stephenson has already announced she intends to run for the seat. Meanwhile, Republican Daniel Cameron has already officially announced a bid. However, he is expected to be challenged by several others. And the big question on everyone's mind is how much will President Donald Trump influence who takes the seat? McConnell has been a critic of President Donald Trump, yet his influence in Kentucky politics is already felt with several state bills filed in Frankfort that are similar to the president's executive actions or even mentioning the president.
Mitch McConnell's decision to step down really puts a final punctuation mark on the Reagan-Bush era Republican Party. That Republican Party is mostly gone.
As for who is not running for the seat, Governor Andy Beshear once again emphasized he has no interest in the seat. And former Kentucky Senate leader Damon Thayer is also out, saying in a statement posted to social media, "There are several candidates who appear to be interested in seeking the seat, but I will not be among them. One of them is head and shoulders better than the others, and I will endorse him at the appropriate time." We invite you to watch our WHAS 11 News special report on the fast-moving events since McConnell's announcement. You can watch it on the free WHAS 11 Plus app. Our Doug Proffitt and senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez talk about the race for the Senate, who could be the early front-runner, and a balanced look at Mitch McConnell's Louisville legacy. It's right now on the free WHAS 11 Plus app. New tonight, devastating news as the death toll from flooding in Kentucky continues to rise. Tonight, Governor Beshear announced a 21st person has died due to the weather. The latest death is out of Logan County, Kentucky, which is just outside of Bowling Green. Beshear says he's been talking with President Trump about getting individual assistance from the federal government. State leaders say they are working on legislation to provide more funding for victims.
Out of this bleakness, there have been a lot of rays of hope. The generosity of people has been overwhelming. We've seen people immediately come in and offer assistance. My phone's been blowing up with, where can we donate? Where would you like us to help? And, almost to the point to where we don't know really where to direct them all to make sure that those resources get to where they need.
Governor Beshear has already started a fund where people can donate to help victims of the storm. We have a link to that fundraiser on our website, WHAS11.com. Louisville took tonight to celebrate those who work to enrich the community. 2 events took place tonight to honor civil rights activists, among others. WHAS 11 Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester bring us to the celebrations as leaders thank the community.
Beautiful it is for us to come together in unity.
LMPD and business and education leaders alike, all under one roof.
It's a night of ceremonies, the unsung movers of the community being honored at the Galt House.
23 recipients honored for their dedication to the betterment of Kentuckiana at the 3rd annual Reverend Dr. Charles Elliott Jr. Peace Awards.
It's a really high honor, you know.
When I think about it, it's all about just being myself and making an impact in the community in whatever I do.
Celebrating with song, food and prayer under the light of the event's namesake, Reverend Elliott, the pastor of King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church in the California neighborhood, who has dedicated decades of his life to civil rights work.
Because the whole point of this is peace. The people that are being recognized are people that are trying to, you know, do something to kind of bring us together. We've got a million reasons to be divided.
And just down the road at the Muhammad Ali Center, Molo Village's African Gala, celebrating those in the community who help continue the grassroots organization's work of providing resources to the Russell neighborhood.
We believe that it takes a village to build a community, and all of the people that are here tonight are part of our village.
People that serve don't do it for recognition, but to take the time to pause, to acknowledge the excellence and the greatness of individuals in the community is awesome. And so
recipients stay thankful and humble.
I don't consider myself great. I consider the other recipients great. I'm just a humble servant ready to serve.
I want to do all that I can for as many as I can and for as long as I can.
Tomorrow, the work continues. In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
And our very own Charlene Shanklin was the mistress of the event at the Molo Village African Gala.